I have played way too much Diablo 4, and because of that, I wanted to make a video overview for players who are existing, new, or considering to see what the game looks like after about 50 to 100 hours. For reference on me, I played the beta to completion, maxing out each character, and I currently have a 73 Necromancer who's running Bone Spirit. I've completed all Renown, all Altars of Lilith, pretty much everything you could do in the game. I want to discuss specifically the category of leveling, dungeons, late game, playing as a Necromancer specifically, and finally, my overall rating. I want to keep this sharply efficient. So with that in mind, let's do this. Leveling was a lot of different emotions. First of which for me was amazement. I solo leveled, and personally, I thought my first playthrough was pretty efficient. I played in World Tier 2, and even with all the cutscenes, I completed the campaign at 40, and I hit World Tier 3 at level 44. In this game, I feel like progress is just kind of what you make of it. For me, I rushed through the campaign to try to get to a mount so that I could explore the entire place as soon as possible, whereas some of my friends spent the time to 100% the first zone and didn't even move on to Act 2 until level 47. Everyone, however, had fun. The story was astonishing, and the world felt fulfilling everywhere I went. There was always something to do. I never felt weak, I always felt ahead, and I loved it every time I've done it on every character. Overall, thumbs up for me. Considering dungeons are roughly 70% of the endgame, and more if you're hard grinding level 100, I'm pretty impressed with what Blizzard brought to the table here. ARPGs always have a grindy endgame mechanic, that's just the nature of the game. But these dungeons have enough difference between them, and they tie into the story well enough that even after a couple hundred runs, I'm not that exhausted. I feel like the dungeons are tiered very clearly on which ones you should be doing at which level. Regulars until World Tier 3, Nightmare Keys 1 through 20 during your levels 45 through 65, so forth and so on. The capstone dungeons were completely different. The first one felt like a breeze, whereas the second one kind of felt like a blizzard. I eventually beat it, but props to the devs for not making this one a cakewalk. I really did appreciate the dungeons in this game, and I look forward to continue doing them for the next foreseeable future. Nearing the end of the game and leaping into both Tier 3 and Tier 4 were some of the most drastic and exciting moments in the time I spent in Diablo 4. Tier 3 encapsulates roughly the levels 45 to 70, and Tier 4 is 70 and beyond, but both can be hit sooner than recommended, and they were. The Helltides proved to be the best time spent for both XP and gear between the research done between me and my friends. Once I figured out the mystery chest loops, me and my friends exchanged Tier 4 carries for quite literally 5 levels of time during the Helltide. The world bosses are fun for a few times, but they lack the initiative to repeat them often. Kind of like Lost Ark and other games where they incentivize their guardian beasts, I feel like Diablo really needs something to bring you back to these bosses, whether it be a quest or something else. The Legion events don't really pique my interest, and Whispers always seem to be a giant waste of time to target farm. But instead, I find them to be a nice bonus on top of doing things in the world just when I was farming my renown. Overall, there's tons to do. I can't wait for what they bring with Season 1, any new classes, and of course, all the new loot that we're going to be getting. When I played in the beta, I originally built a Blood Mist Corpse Explosion Necromancer, and I had a wonderful time. I wasn't particularly overpowered, strong, yes, but nothing on my Sorc or my Barbarian. It wasn't until my eventual realization on the live game when I finally got the legendary to drop at 52 that the aspect was heavily nerfed. I was crushed. My entire build was sharply pointed at corpses, and I was doing well with my minions, but just not well enough to justify the corpses. It wasn't until I was 2 Paragon boards in and full ability points that I ran a Helltide with a friend. I was critting for around 6k and his Sorc was critting for around 60k. I went back, respect, built Bone Spirit, and started hitting crits for 1 million. This game definitely has its better and its worse builds, but I would almost put money on it that the Blood Mist build wouldn't have ended up as broken as the Bone Spirit crits are. All of this said, Necro was a blast to play in all levels. There are truly only a few builds that can transcend to the higher levels of play, but I don't think that that's necessarily true forever. I think that's for right now, and the rest of the classes have similarities and differences, so I'll speak on those in a future video. I would imagine that for most everyone who has played this game or intends on trying it, that it's the best gaming purchase they've made in a while. and it's a steep one. This game has both given and taken from me in large quantities. It's taken so much time for me, and typically on the off-rip release of a game, I never play as often as I have with Diablo 4, and I don't see it stopping anytime soon. There's endless content, and only more coming with the seasons that we haven't even seen yet. And I think the most important part about Diablo 4 for me is that it's given me a home. Now, I play a ton of games, mostly FPS, and when I started playing the Diablo 4 beta, I realized deep down this was my forever game. I plan on making weekly content updates talking both about the game from the outside, as well as a number of videos about my adventures in it. I really look forward for the future to come. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, like and subscribe, and otherwise, until next time, Flex fam.